This is National Chess Master, all rats at chess.com, here to continue my video series on the team match between my video lessons group and CARPE DIEM. This was played on board 146 out of 210, got a high 1600 versus a low mid 1500. Our man is tomho is black against Morton SF87. Interesting game. Let's have a look. It follows the main line so far, the Roy Lopez. But usually black plays bishop e7. b5 might be a little early. It could transpose, and it does. And black can opt to castle queenside and go into a martial attack should he choose. But d6, h3, and let's see. At some point, I know black's supposed to be playing knight a5 here. He doesn't do it. I mean, that's the main line. And he plays bishop e6. And now the knight goes to a5. And white opts not to take and give black potential attacking chances on the f-file. Black brings the bishop to c2. But now what's kind of surprising is, normally in similar formations, black is following up with c5 to get a stake in the center. But black inexplicably brings his knight back, blocking his c-pawn. And I've done this in a number of videos. Let's look at the black position here, and let's just back it up to right here, to after white's 10th move. The black position didn't change, but the white position did. So in effect, and I'll say this again because I think it's a great illustration. Every time you're moving a piece back where it started, that's in effect what black is saying is, you know what, white? I'll tell you what, it's my move, but I'm going to make a deal with you. You can't refuse. I'm going to give you two moves right now, as long as one of them is bishop c2. Okay? You can play, even though it's my move, if you put your bishop on c2, it's your turn. You get two moves in a row, but the first one has to be bishop c2. And in effect, that's what happens. Let's look. And now white chooses to play rook e1. Now let's compare. Again, we'll take a look. Let's flick back. What in the black position has changed? Nothing. It was black's move. Right here, correct? Because he played knight a5. Now, we'll flick forward to white's 12th move. And white's gotten two free moves out of it. Now it's black's turn again. It's one of the drawbacks with moving a piece back where it started. Okay? And now here, I think black tried to do too much too quick. See, here's one of the reasons why this pawn belonged on c5. The queen could come to c7. The rooks are connected. So this rook really isn't in the game yet. And black attempts to attack white right now. And this was the wrong strategy. And I think white ends up with a clear advantage, which he promptly doesn't exploit. As a matter of fact, he plays a losing move. I'm going to show you the losing move he plays. It's just inexplicable. You know, we can blame this on moving too fast in correspondence chess. Knight h4. It just gives up. It just gives up a free knight, and white can't recover from this. But we'll see what happens in a moment. But watch what white could do. Okay, let's take this bishop now. Now, black needs to take back, or he's down a piece. Now comes d4. Now that uncovers an attack on the rook. Now the rook's going to have to retreat somewhere. Let's put him on f8. Now here comes queen d3. Okay, now that's threatening a very annoying check down here. Suppose black tries to prevent it. You know, it seems like white's just got all kinds of great moves at his disposal. Let's see. We can plant the queen on g3. Might be able to sacrifice on h3. There's a check. You know, it just seems to be. Let's look at the sacrifice for a second. Okay, check. Got to go here. check. Now you can't block with the knight, you get mated, so you have to go back. And let's see, giving up a piece here, but look at the black king. Let's take a pawn. I'm just seeing what happens. Now, I'm doing this just so black can trade pieces. But now this rook is coming into play. I'm not going to sit here and prove how white could have won, but I'm just saying there's all kinds of potential danger here. And these are the things that when white chose to play f5, that he should have taken time and seen this possibility. Clearly black's trying to attack on the f-file, but it's actually white that gets the attack. And I think it's a simple thing to see because we're using active moves, threats, captures, and checks. f5, we examine this move, capture, okay, which was played. So if black's analyzing this game, he should see this. He should consider this move because it's a capture. And now here's a threat, a discovery. The rook's under attack. This is the natural square to retreat it. If this fails, we can start looking at other ideas, but this is how you analyze. Now the queen comes to d3. This is a natural move. This is a natural move. This isn't difficult to reach this position. And what has white given up to reach this? Nothing. All he did was react to black's attempt to open up the position. And white's the one that got the open lines. Where's black's attack on the f-file? It's non-existent. But white has a direct attack against the white king. Let's look at it a little bit more. Queen g6 might allow the defensive resource queen e8, but white can just bring his queen back to g3. There's potential threats on this. The threat is parking this bishop here. This is a nightmare for black to have to defend. I don't know what's going to happen here. It's two players are going to decide the outcome. Careful analysis in a correspondence game will prove that white can win this, because I think white is going to win this. His attack is just too strong, and the fact he played knight h4, well, game over. We'll look and see if there's anything. There's really not much to it from this point on. White tries his best to get some play, but he's playing with one less piece. And black is just happy to trade pieces off because he knows that attrition will decide the game. He safeguards his knight so his queen is free. Now there's some threats on h6. Now let's trade some more. I can't do it. Now this drops the pawn on h6, but black's not too worried about that pawn. He's a piece ahead, and he's getting pieces off. And there goes a rook. Now suddenly, white's down a lot of material, and let's see, he's down a rook and a knight. He's got 3 pawns on the king side, but he's down a pawn on the queen side. It's just clearly winning for black. And white desperately tries to get something going, but he's running out of pieces. And here, black's just happy to return the queen. He doesn't care. He's just got all kinds of good moves. A free bishop. And, a rook, 2 rooks is enough for a queen. 2 rooks and 2 pieces is more than enough for the queen. And white's only hope is his pass pawns, but they're not going anywhere. And all the black's pieces are coming into play. And, essentially white has nothing here. The queen is being overwhelmed by all these pieces. And here white decided to give up. So there wasn't too much to that game other than I think white had incredible attacking chances from this position. And, black allowed it. White didn't find it. So verdict, you guys didn't analyze. This is how you play correspondence chess. I'm teaching you how to get better at chess. Me playing correspondence chess is what moved my rating from low 2000s to 2200 in 3 months. 1 year of analyzing a lot of chess, playing the good old-fashioned way by going over these things, did it. You can do it too, but not if you sit here and the move shows up. Oh, let's see, what do I want to do here? Let's, White logs in, finds he has a move. Black played knight g3. Black says, I want to attack on the king side. I'm going to play f5. And submits the move without even looking. And then obviously Black is just, or White's just as guilty because his move is knight h4. Not even seeing that the knight's on the take. Okay, let's get the next game up between the two. See what happens here. And I'm going to flip the board so tomho's on the bottom. Okay, let's go to the back. Okay. Queen's Gambit declined. Now it kind of becomes an IMSO Indian defense. But here, Black commits a huge mistake. Taking this knight on c3. Well, why is this a huge mistake? Okay, because if you guys understand anything about correspondence chess, you understand that you're allowed to look up the openings. And you should be looking up the openings. And if you look up the opening, you'll find that this position has been reached untold thousands of times. It's a book line. Now, maybe somebody's played bishop takes c3 before, but the normal thing that happens in the Nimzo Indian is Black will develop this knight, and then White plays a3. Then Black takes. So you want to make White spend a tempo on a3. Okay? Then you got this knight into play that you didn't get in your own game. Now, where do you look up the books? Okay, I'll answer this in periodic videos, but not everybody watches every one of my videos. So, going to give you the answer. Number one, you can do a little research and find some great books on the Nimzo Indian defense. The ones I was familiar with are long outdated, but I'm sure there's been other ones anthologies that are put together that categorize all the variations and show you how the ideas how to play them, along with plenty of examples. Or number two, you make investment in something like ChessBase, which has millions of games. Well, you don't want to make that investment. Okay, fine. Go to Google. Google is your friend. Type in free online chess databases. There's quite a few of them out there. Some of them require you to register an email in order to use them. They'll only let you look so deep into a line. Well, guess what? If you're playing chess on the internet, you have an email, because how did you register your account? Well, you pretty much, you know the answer there. So you have an email. You register your email and you got free use. Then you got all these things are on the computer monitor. The old days, we didn't have these automatic moving chess pieces where we could look at tons and tons of games quickly. We had to set up the chessboard and move the pieces. Okay, so you can see more now than we could back then. So you guys have all the advantages we old school masters didn't. Yet you guys don't understand how to play correspondence chess. You look up the opening, then you learn it. Next time you play a tournament game, you're ready for it. Rather than it's all outlined in video lesson 001. Learn these things as you go. Okay, so bishop takes c3, big mistake. You lost the tempo. Saved White a tempo. Now White has access to the a3 square that he wouldn't have otherwise. See? Now the knight comes out. And yep, there it is. Bishop a3. Okay, well, Black's okay. Black grabs the pawn. And White gets it back. Now, normally in the normal Nimzo Indian, a lot of times this dark squared bishop is not a good piece for White. It takes him a while to get it active, if he ever does. And the two black knights do a good job of maintaining the balance. But now the bishop is loose, and looks like there's a free pawn on the take down there. Uh-oh. Now White's a pawn up, and the black king position's a little loose. Here he saves his bishop. He might not want to give it up in effect for 3 pawns, but hey, why not? With the bishop on c5, the queen's cut off from coming over to defend. White might just generate a quick mate. Leave you out to analyze to see if you can play another move like like what other move? H4. Get ready to ram those pawns down his throat. Okay, all kinds of candidate moves. Put a rook on C1, so that maybe if you're lucky, you can somehow get up to C5 and swing over. I mean, these are just things to think about when you're analyzing a correspondence game. Okay, so the knight comes back, attacks the bishop. White doesn't care about that bishop. He's a pawn up. And White's just happy to trade into a winning ending because Black's going to get overwhelmed here. Look at the white rooks, both active on open files. Black's queenside is undeveloped. White's threatening to fork to bring down the house. Penetrates to the 7th rank. A pawn ahead. What more can White ask for? Hey, look, a free pawn. Thank you. And White's clearly winning this. And there's really nothing Black can do. And he's down 2 pawns. White's dominating. Black's development at move 27 is still not complete. And White doesn't want to draw, so he tries something else. And, now there's a deadly check on F7. Possibly coming. There it is. Check. Now we're going to do with the rook. Let's double rooks. Look at G7. Pretty much game over, and Black's response is just give up material. Thank you. And now we take this, and White's up a clear piece, as well as a couple of pawns. Black can get an outside pass pawn, but it's not enough. The rook and bishop will outduel it. Let's just get the king over for good measure. And now the pawns are stuck. They're not going to advance too easily. Let's pick up another pawn. Thank you very much. And Black decided to resign. So the culprit's here. Black didn't look up the opening and discover that the move is knight c6, and that just allowed White pretty much a nice advantage. Then Black never developed. He never developed his queen side. That bishop, the bishop didn't even come out until Black had lost the exchange. See, he's going after a pawn here. What about, I was saying bishop a3 shouldn't be a problem. Well, you can't take it. Let's see, I think, yeah, bishop a3 became a problem. There's 2 attackers on that pawn and it's pinned. So that's why you play a3. I didn't think it would be a problem, but it is. Anyway, better luck to you next time. Morton SF87. I hope you get to see this video too. Everybody else that's watching, thank you so much. There's a lot to learn. Take care.